What is up, everybody? My name is Noah Holley, and you're watching the latest edition of the Pride Report. We have so much to get to today, guys. Last night was absolutely crazy. We had top 10 teams going down. We had other top 10 teams being pushed to the limits but barely surviving. We had top 20 opponents going head-to-head and battling it out to the end. And we had another top 15 team go down. It was amazing. And I missed it all, unfortunately, because the satellite went out while I was attempting to record multiple games at once. So, as you can imagine, that was very disappointing. I am glad that I missed the end of this one, though. Number 18, West Virginia knocked off number 15, Virginia, 68-61, thanks to Lamont West's 22 points. Javon Carter also had 23 points and 10 rebounds to lead the Mountaineers to the huge victory. As much as I hate to admit, as I am a very big UVA fan, Javon Carter is one of the best players in the country. He is amazing at college basketball. There's nothing he doesn't do perfectly right. He hits any shot, he can guard anyone, and he can, by himself, will West Virginia to a win, which is essentially what happened here with the assistance of West. But as good as those guys were, perhaps the most impressive performance of the night came from Virginia's Kyle Guy, who, after going 0 for 5 from deep to scoring 0 points in the first half, hit 6 three-pointers in the second. Up until the very end, this was back-and-forth basketball, large in part due to Kyle Guy being so hot from behind the arc. You know, as cliche as this is, this game had a March feel to it. Like last year in this game, Virginia committed exactly 14 turnovers. At the start of each half, it took Virginia a few minutes to adjust to the full-court press, which is where, and in those first few minutes, that was where the bulk of the turnovers were committed, and allowed West Virginia to build 7-point leads early in both periods. Overall, I don't think Virginia performed terribly against the full-court press, but it did force them way out of their comfort zone, as the unusually high, by UVA standards that is, amount of turnovers suggests. Before we move on to the next game, here's a notable stat. We have West Carter and veteran guard Daxter Miles. They scored 57 of West Virginia's 68 points in this one, but I don't see this as a testament to a lack of depth at all. I see it as a result of 3 players who have the ability to take over the game doing just that. One concerning thing about West Virginia's performance, if I am going to nitpick, was the lack of paint production. I believe they had only 8 points scored in the paint the entire game. But I think the reality is the Mountaineers are just going to have to live with this until Issa Ahmad returns from suspension in January. After he returns and West Virginia can get their front court production back, watch out, Big 12. These guys are going to be really good. This game right here may have been the biggest upset of the season thus far. Ball State knocking off number 9 Notre Dame on the road in one of the biggest wins in school history. Ball State's Taylor Persons hit a three-pointer in the final seconds to give the Cardinals the win. Absolutely stunning. Yes, it is a shocking result, but it's a little bit more understandable when you compare the two teams' performance on the glass. Ball State created plenty of opportunities for themselves on the offensive boards, and Notre Dame just didn't do that at all. In fact, the Irish only got 4 offensive rebounds in total and lost the rebounding battle as a whole 40-26. In the span of a week, Notre Dame has dropped from 15th to 56th in the Haslametrics rankings, and they'll fall even further if they continue their weak output on the glass, something that also plagued them in their loss last week against Michigan State. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, that we recognize Michael Bridges as one of the nation's top players. Bridges scored a career-high 28 points in Villanova's big win over Gonzaga Tuesday night, 2 of them coming from this dunk. After that slam, which gave Villanova a 15-point lead late in the second half, Gonzaga may have as well gotten up and walked right out of the building at that point because there was no coming back from that. The momentum was permanently shifted in Villanova's favor, and the Wildcats were able to earn the 88-72 win. Phil Booth, who missed the entirety of last season, took a medical red shirt, added 20 for the Wildcats, who honestly looked the part of a national title contender in this one. Yes, it is one game, but there is enough from this dominant performance to suggest that Villanova should be taken seriously. With Bridges playing at a Wooden Award level, Booth showing no signs of being rusty, and Jalen Brunson playing as well as ever, there may be no stopping the Wildcats, who don't appear to have missed a beat after losing their veteran trio of Josh Hart, Ryan Arcidiacono, and Chris Jenkins. Wildcats may very well be the best team in the country, and the fact that anybody is thinking that at all is a huge accomplishment for the Wildcats, considering all the talent they lost to graduation last year. Obviously it's early, but I think Villanova's playing really well right now, and they are going to be a team to watch out for in March once again. Arizona was among the many teams on Tuesday night to earn a huge win, toppling number 7 Texas A&M in a thriller. 4 players scored 13 points for Arizona, including DeAndre Ayton, who had a double-double for the second consecutive game. He also averages a double-double this season. Arizona won despite fouling Dwayne Wilson behind the arc with just seconds remaining, an absolute careless foul on DeAndre Ayton's part. It gave him an opportunity to tie the game with 3 free throws, but Wilson missed the first, dooming the Aggies. Words cannot express how big this victory is for Arizona. The win provides a great opportunity for the Wildcats to get back on track after falling out of the rankings a few weeks ago thanks to 3 losses in 3 nights at the battle for Atlantis. This was probably Arizona's best all-around effort all year, honestly, especially defensively. The Wildcats held A&M interior stars Robert Williams and DJ Hogue to 4 and 9 points, respectively, well under their season averages. Celtics general manager Danny Ainge was in Phoenix to see the game as well. There was plenty to see in terms of NBA talent, especially DeAndre Ayton and Robert Williams. But outshining both of those guys was fellow interior presence Tyler Davis, who scored 21 to lead the Aggies. But it was not enough, as Texas A&M fell for the first time all season. Keenan Evans scored a career-high 32 points, and Texas Tech knocked off number 22 Nevada in overtime, handing the Wolfpack their first loss of their season and their first game in 10 years as a ranked team. Nevada was led by a combined 50 points from the Martin twins, but somehow it was not enough. Jordan Caroline missed a 3-pointer with 3 seconds remaining in regulation. That would have given Nevada the win in this one. Following that, Texas Tech opened overtime with a Zaire Smith dunk and never trailed for the remainder of the period. I know I gushed about Nevada yesterday, but I'm not taking anything that I said back. I still believe Nevada is capable of challenging anyone, but it is going to be tough if Jordan Caroline only scores 6 points on 2 for 9 shooting, as he did against the Red Raiders on Tuesday. But let's talk about Caleb and Cody Martin for a second. So just because I was curious, I went back and looked at their numbers from their final season at NC State, which was in 2014-15, and I found that they averaged a combined 17.5 points per game, which is a solid total. But in this season, they're averaging a combined 35 points a game, which is absolutely mind-boggling. These guys have been so good all season long. But anyway, I look to see Texas Tech back in the top 5 next week after this big win, which was their second against a ranked team this season. I have to say, as weird as it is, I'm kind of digging Big Ten Conference play in December, especially if we can get upsets like this. Nebraska knocked off number 14 Minnesota 78-68 behind 20 second-half points from Glenn Watson, who was coming off of a 6-point performance in which he went a disastrous 2 for 11 from the field against Michigan State. But as good as Watson was, I think the biggest reason Nebraska was able to not only win, but stay in control the entirety of the second half was their ability to hold Minnesota forward Jordan Murphy to only 10 points. No easy task by any means. Jordan Murphy has gone crazy on everybody this season. In fact, the Huskers were the first team Minnesota has faced that was able to figure out how to contain Murphy, and the resulting lack of interior production doomed the Gophers. Props to Tim Miles for having his squad ready to play after being humiliated by Michigan State over the weekend, losing by 29 points. We'll have to see if Nebraska can repeat this performance, as they have a very difficult stretch ahead of them with Creighton and Kansas coming up next. Number 3 Michigan State was challenged on the road at Rutgers Tuesday, but then again, what top team wasn't challenged yesterday? But this is just a sluggish performance on the offensive end for the Spartans, who weren't able to pull away until Cassius Winston made a 3-point jumper with 3.5 minutes to go. Miles Bridges scored 21 to help Michigan State avoid the upset, but the most impressive stat line from this one was Jaren Jackson Jr.'s 8 blocks. I mean, 8 blocks? Are you kidding me? This guy is some kind of talent. Plenty of other action in one of the biggest nights of college basketball yet. Kenrick Williams scored 27 points to lead TCU past SMU. Each team had 5 players in double figures in that one. Horned Frogs will move to 9-0, and SMU will fall to 7-3. Duke scored 71 points in the first half and won 124-67 in a rout of lowly St. Francis at Pennsylvania. Duke had such a big lead that even Jordan Tucker saw floor time at one point, which was like a modern-day Bigfoot sighting. Wichita State rallied to upend South Dakota State, 95-85. Mike Dahm was up to his old tricks again for the Jackrabbits, hitting 7 3-pointers and scoring 31 points, which at this point is like a modest performance for him. Landry Shamet scored 20, and Wichita State rode a huge second half to move to 7-1. And finally, Miami handling Boston University. Freshman Lonnie Walker had his official coming out party, scoring 26 for the Canes. It was about time Walker, a 5-star recruit, had a breakout game. We'll see if it can get him going for good. That's all the ranked action from Tuesday night. Texas topped VCU. They led 57-38 with under 12 minutes remaining, but they gave it all back after a furious rally from VCU, I should say. But they were able to hold on and move to 6-2. Syracuse knocked off UConn in the nightcap of the Jimmy V Classic. Keelan Martin scored 29 to push Butler past Utah, and Marquette beat Vermont behind Marcus Howard's 6 3-pointers. I tell you, Marcus Howard may be one of my favorite players in the country to watch. He is ridiculous, one of the best shooters in college basketball. What a night in college hoops. My goodness. Alright, let's take a look at today's slate now. Thankfully, it's nowhere near as packed as Tuesdays, or this show would surely eclipse the hour mark. Yeah, let's take a peek here. I fully expect Kansas and UNC to roll to wins. Kansas may very well be the best team in the country. Some interesting SEC action here as well to go along with Wisconsin taking on Temple. Xavier and Florida are the only other top 25 teams in action. Don't allow yourself to be fooled by Loyola's record. UF should win this game fairly easily. Stephen F. Austin and Louisiana Tech is pretty intriguing. That's a quality mid-major contest right there. We also have South Carolina taking on Wyoming. But that's all I got for you folks today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for my weekend preview. I'm going to be talking Florida versus Cincinnati, Arizona State versus Kansas, and much, much more. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe. Really helps us out. And remember to follow the show on Twitter at CPP Pride Report. That's 3 P's in a row. If you want to follow my personal account, that's at NoahSports1. All the links are in the description. I've also provided some links to some of the content that we've been putting out on the site lately, so definitely go check that out as well. But yeah, like I said, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.